Well, hello, it's time for Tuesday Talks. Thanks for being here and educating yourself about your nutrition and health journey. Talked about this before, but remember that, fix this. Educating yourself is one of the most powerful things you can do, is educating yourself with the right information, giving yourself all the tools in your tool belt that you need to get healthy, lose weight, and stay that way, not falling for the Instagram trends and the TikTok trends and all that stuff. So I've kind of been on a little rant about it lately. I just feel like there's so much outside noise of people that are like, there's just so many influencers and they're not properly educated, and people are trusting what they say and they're actually not certified coaches and trainers and all this stuff, and yet they're getting millions of views on these things that are not good education. So make sure that you're educating yourself properly, which being here means you're starting that process. So that's awesome. So today I'm going to talk about spot reducing. I feel like this is kind of something that most women know by now, but I still feel like even though a lot of women know it, they still have it in the back of their head, like they don't quite understand it, or maybe they don't want to believe it. I don't know. I think there's just still this idea that, and here we go back to social media again, because there's still so many people saying that you can do it, right? There's still so many people that are saying, do this ab move to make your abs go away. That's spot reducing, right? Do this leg press thing and it'll shape your thighs. It'll get rid of the fat on your thighs. That's spot reducing. All those little like tags that people use to make you believe that this one special thing is going to make you lose that one area of fat that you don't want. That's called spot reducing. And that is, you can't do that. It doesn't happen that way. I actually thought I had done a Tuesday Talks on this, but I looked through and I haven't. Maybe I've talked about it in other ones, but I'm just going to solely focus it on here. So spot reducing, let's just go over what that means. It means that people come to me and they say, I want to lose belly fat. I want my thighs to be thinner. So they're pointing out a certain area of fat on their body that they want to get rid of. I sure wish it worked that way, guys. I really do. And I wish I could do that for you, but it doesn't work that way. So our body chooses to hold fat in different areas based on what? Genetics. Okay. So a lot of times you can look at people and you can look at their parents and you can go, oh, that's why they look like that, right? That's why they're maybe carrying more fat up here in their upper region, in their arms and their chest, okay, and have super skinny legs. Some people are very, very lean up top, carry more weight down here. Some people tend to carry it in their midsection. It just depends on genetics. It also does a little bit depend on where you are in what stage of life, because as women, as our hormones shift, our body starts to decide to store fat in different areas than it did before, mostly your belly. So you notice there's so much stuff around getting rid of that perimenopause, menopause belly. That is because it's the normal fat. It's not a special like type of fat. It's normal fat. But the hormone shift in your body and how your body is changing, it's deciding it's going to start storing it a little bit differently. So you might start seeing it show up in places that you were like, I never ever had that issue before. I have so many women that come to me and they say, I have never ever had an issue with belly fat, and they have an issue now. So, but it all underlying starts with genetics and then can change from there. Okay. So losing fat on your body, you can't pinpoint and go, okay, I'm going to spot reduce this. I'm going to do this move. Okay. So when you are doing certain moves to tone up a certain part of your body, will it help the shape of your body there? Absolutely. You're building muscle, and muscle creates a different shape because it's very lean and flat, whereas fat is kind of bubbly and chunky. Okay. But here's the thing is, if you build all the muscle you want in a certain area, so let's take your thighs, for example, because I feel like your thighs and butt is like a really big one for women, right? And I definitely carry more fat down there. Absolutely. I'm leaner up top and down here. So I want to change the shape of my legs. Okay. So I start lifting weights and I start gaining a lot of muscle. Well, what's going to happen first is my legs are actually going to start getting a little bit bigger, because if I'm just adding muscle and I'm not losing any fat, we're putting on the muscle underneath the fat. Okay, so you're building out. So of course they're going to get a little bit bigger. That's where you get women that say, I can't lift weights, it makes me bulky. It's not the muscle that's making you bulky. It's the fat on top of the muscle that's making you bulky. Okay, so if you lifted weights and got the muscle and then lost the fat, they're going to look so much different. They're going to look so much leaner. Okay, so that if that's the look that you're going for, you can't shy away from the weights, because the muscle is what's going to completely change the shape of it. This is what's called body recomposition. Okay, this is what most women come to me for, is not just I want to get as thin as I possibly can, but I actually want to change the shape of my body. So I want to get leaner, but I want to build muscle. So that's all part of body recomposition. That's what I help women do. So the steps that you have to take for that are starting with muscle. Even if you're like, I just want to lose weight, the best way to start is by building muscle. Now, can you build muscle and lose the fat at the same time? That kind of depends on the person and where you're starting from. If you have a lot of weight to lose, yeah, you can actually. You can be doing both. So you can be losing weight and gaining muscle at the same time. Or I should say losing fat and gaining muscle at the same time. If you're on the leaner side and you only have like maybe 10 pounds left, that last stubborn 10 pounds that you want to lose, that's going to be a little bit harder to do at the same time, because growing muscle takes a good amount of energy, which is calories. And if you're trying to do a cut to lean out and lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, they kind of run into each other a little bit. It makes it harder because your body is already somewhat lean and it's looking for even more energy, and it's going to take that energy away. So that's one of the reasons why I always suggest lifting weights first and getting that foundation of muscle and growing that muscle. And then when you do a calorie deficit or a cut or a fat loss phase, you're slimming down, you're getting rid of that fat, and you're going to see all that lean muscle, and you're going to reveal it, and you're going to be like, oh, cool. I have a lot of muscle that I didn't know was there because it was covered with fat. So it's where all the hard work is revealed, right? So what you want to make sure that you do, though, here's the thing, is when you're in a cut or a fat loss or a calorie deficit, again, you're doing it to lose fat, but you don't get to choose where your body decides to lose fat first. So my body, because of the way my genetics, when I start to lose weight, where do I start to lose weight first? My leaner part, my arms. So my lean arms get even leaner. And I'm like, no, I want it to come off of here. But you just have to be patient, right? So sometimes you're not, when you see fat loss, you start seeing it in the part that you're like, I didn't really need it to come off of there. I wanted it to come off of there. But the thing is not to give up, because eventually once it runs out of energy in one certain area, it's going to go to the next. So that's where being in a calorie deficit for a certain amount of time pays off, because then you're really getting to the core of where that's coming from. Now, I always suggest not being in, for most women. Some women can do a cut for a while, but for most women, I don't ever suggest really doing it longer than 12 weeks, just because it's a lot of stress on the body mentally and physically. But if you go through that 12 weeks and you lose some weight, and then you're still building muscle while you're doing this, and then you come out of it and you give your body a break for a while, you come back up into maintenance and you eat at maintenance and let your body relax and have a little break mentally. So you're not gaining any weight back. You're just staying at where your body is happy. You're not losing or gaining. And you just take a while and keep building muscle and weight. And then you can do phases. So then you can go into a fat loss phase again. And you can just cycle through these phases until you keep chiseling away and you get what you want. But it takes time. If you're doing it properly, it takes time. So a lot of these people that you see, these like these incredible before and afters, these are not 6-week transformations. They have been building muscle for a very long time. And then they did a cut and it revealed it. And so all of a sudden they look completely different. But they've been lifting muscle or lifting weights for a very long time, developing that muscle. So don't get caught up again into that influencer thing of like, oh, 6 weeks and she built all that muscle and she looks incredible, right? It takes longer than that. Muscle just takes longer to build, especially the more experienced you get, the longer it takes. So it does though, once you understand the process and you kind of get in the habit of doing these cycles, it's kind of fun. I've been doing these cycles for, I don't know, years now. And it's just fun to watch my body slowly transform through each phase. So most of the time, I actually am living in maintenance or a little bit above maintenance, eating at my the highest calorie I can without gaining much weight to help my body build muscle. And then I'm just letting it be happy there and build up muscle and eat enough calories and just let it hang out there for a long time. It's good for my hormones and building muscle. And then once in a while, I'll go, okay, let's do a little fat loss phase just to, get the few pounds that have gone up, get them off again. So I get them off. And then it's like each time it's like revealing like a coat of paint, like it just reveals more, all the muscle that I've grown each time. And so slowly but surely, you're able to change the shape of your body, even if genetically you were predispositioned to have it some way. So for my entire life, I could not build muscle. Well, I thought I couldn't build muscle on my legs. My legs take a very long time to build muscle on. Like I've said, that's where I keep most of my fat. I just thought, okay, my legs are just going to look like this. Like I won't ever have those toned legs like everybody else has. And I wasn't doing things right. Obviously, there were a lot of things that I wasn't doing right. I wasn't lifting heavy enough. I wasn't using progressive overload. I wasn't doing hypertrophy. So I wasn't really forcing my body to grow muscle. But I also didn't understand that it takes time to do that. And then you actually can, through the years, change the shape. And I've completely changed the shape. You've seen my before and afters of my legs. And I'm still working on it because they're just slower to go. But it's fun. It's fun to kind of each phase see like, oh, they're getting, even more lean and even more muscle each time. So I hope that clarifies it for you a little bit. I know it kind of feels frustrating because we all just really want that quick spot reduce and everything to happen at once. But the thing is that I want you to focus on is we're all so stuck in like this instant gratification. But once you learn to kind of rest into the journey and enjoy it and kind of have fun watching the process and changing your body, it can actually be a really fun journey if you kind of can let go of constantly thinking that there's a finish line somewhere. Like it'll all end and my body will be perfect in 6 months and I'll never have to do any of this again, right? So getting rid of that finish line and just being like, this is a process and this is a really fun journey and I love watching the progress throughout the way and settle into it is when you're going to see the most change and when you're going to start to learn to make it a lifestyle. So if you can just kind of sink into that a little bit and enjoy it, I think it'll really, really help you with your process. If you ever have any questions, again, please let me know. If you want to learn about what hypertrophy means, how to really grow muscle effectively, I love chatting about it. It's one of my passions. And if you want to kind of learn what body recomposition is in order to change the shape of your body and lose that fat, I would love to explain that further. So as always, reach out to me with any questions you have. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week.